Good morning, my name's Phil. Welcome back to the new Antioch Report. You joined me nice and early. It's 7:30 in the morning. We're heading down to Entoyment in Poole for my very first Trench Crusade event. It's a mini campaign. It's not a tournament, but it's 3 games. 700 ducats, 800 ducats, 900 ducats. With a few friends, should be good fun. I'm going to take you along for the journey.
We arrived nice and early with the board set up and ready to go. The format for the day was fairly simple. This wasn't a tournament, but a mini-campaign. Chance to learn and test out Trench Crusade's campaign system as laid out in the rulebook. Having not played a campaign yet, I was very excited to see how it all worked. I plan on doing a full breakdown on how a campaign works in the future, as the system is very in-depth, but once you get your head around it, it's very easy to follow. You start off with a starting force of 700 ducats, no glory, only the men and upgrades you paid for, and your starting list. For this event, I went with my new Antioch. You have seen them be built and painted here on the channel over the last few videos, and this was the reason why. As well as it being the namesake of the channel, I really wanted to go to the event with a fully painted list. The 700 ducat starting force for the leader and elite had a lieutenant with heavy shotgun, standard armor, sword, combat helmet, and trench shield, as well as a sniper priest with a sniper rifle, medikit, and standard armor. Troops were 2 mechanized infantry, both with machine armor, machine guns, and a great sword, and finally 4 yeomen who had swords to go with their bolt-action rifles, which came to 699 ducats all in. With our list set, it was on to the first game. I was playing my friend who joined me for the car ride down, and we both had new Antioch. With having very similar lists, and having practiced against each other when learning the rules, we knew that whoever was able to take the damage advantage would win, as the snowball effect would be hard to come back from. The first scenario was Claim No Man's Land. Claim No Man's Land is the most straightforward scenario in Trench Crusade. 4 foot by 4 foot board, 12-inch deployment zones on each side for both players, and 4 objective markers placed inside buildings that they themselves serve as the objectives for the game. Infiltration is not allowed in this scenario, and the game lasts for 4 turns or ends earlier if one player has no models left on the battlefield. Victory conditions: players are awarded 2 victory points for each objective they control at the end of each game turn, and 1 victory point for each glorious deed they have completed over the course of the game. My opponent for this game was running a slightly different version of the Antioch to my list, with a lieutenant, 5 yeomen, and 2 mechanized infantry. Now unfortunately I didn't get a lot of footage of the first game. This was down to only being my 3rd game of Trench Crusade, so a lot of rule checking and generally trying to get things right rather than focusing on filming. The game itself started off very even. Turn 1, both me and my opponent captured the objectives closest to our respective board edges, with very little happening in either of our shots. It was 4-4 at the end of the first turn. I'd like to say that on turn 2 I started to get an advantage, but that was not the case. My opponent, being able to deploy after me, had been able to react to my placements fairly well, and when his better positioned machine guns on his own mechanized infantry opened up, the slaughter began. I had 2 yeomen per objective on each flank, 2 to the left with 1 mechanized infantry, the other mechanized infantry was in the centre with my lieutenant, and my sniper priest was on the right hand flank with the 2 other yeomen. He had his machine guns on either side, and on my left flank easily dispatched my yeomen, leaving my mech infantry vulnerable. On the right hand side though, 1 yeoman went down, but the other was able to stand firm. The dead yeomen on the left, however, were not able to be reinforced, and my opponent took an 8-6 lead. Turn 3, the bloodbath continued, quite literally, with my mechanized infantry on the left being killed by a fire team bloodbath. My sniper priest, despite having an aim, rolled nothing but 1s and 2s on his rifle, meaning that again, that flank was now being decimated, and I couldn't reinforce or get back on the objective. With my force now being broken, I was able to score a glorious deed for Hold Your Ground, as I stubbornly held on, making it 12-9. Turn 4 saw some better luck, with my Cypher Priest being able to finally take out one of my opponent's yeomen on the right flank, but nothing more, as my opponent continued to decimate my force, leaving me with 1 surviving yeoman on the right flank and a final score of 20-11. It is here though where the day got really interesting, as it was time to go through the campaign progression. As I said earlier, those rules will get a full video to themselves, purely as quite an in-depth system. The short version of them though is that you see who's left in the trauma phase. Did the out of action in the game mean they were dead, or able to return to the front line? In this instance, 3 of my yeomen perished, but the rest were able to limp on. Next is the promotions and experience step. This is a really fun thematic part, seeing who got a battlefield promotion and gained valuable experience. With this one of my mechanized infantry was promoted to elite and was able to roll on the experience table. The reinforcements and exploration steps follow on from this. My opponent was laughing at how, although I lost, I still won, because I was able to get enough glory through the exploration and the game itself to buy myself a mercenary in the next step, which is the quartermaster's step. We were given our 100 extra ducats, and with my glory, I was able to buy myself an ammo monk. With the roster step updating the force, it was on to the second game. This game would unfortunately be the last game of the day though, as with the campaign step and unfortunately car problems of one of the guys who couldn't join, we were running late. The second game was Relic Hunt. The battlefield is set up much the same as No Man's Land, however it's 6 objectives rather than 4. The objectives are the relics, and rather than being static for the whole game, after the first turn, relics 1 and 2 are removed, then in turn 2, relics 3 and 4 are removed. Victory conditions change with the game. Turns 1 to 3, each objective is worth 1 victory point, and each player can only score a maximum of 4. During turn 4, however, they are worth 2 points each, and of course the glorious deeds which are the same as before. This scenario also features a different deployment, with adding reinforcements. Each player is only allowed to deploy 6 models, none of which can be on a 40mm or larger base. At the start of each player turn, players roll off and the winner rolls a die to determine on a D3 result how many models come onto the board out of what is left in reserve. The last difference in this game is that this was to the death, so no morale checking glory for me this game. My warband was down to 8 models following the first game. Adding an ammo monk with the glory, having to buy in replacements for the yeoman, bringing them back up to 4, both mechanized infantry and the lieutenant. I was playing against the Heretic Legion. I have not faced them before, but knew the artillery witch by reputation, with my opponent having a Heretic Priest, Death Commando, Heretic Chorister, 3 Heretic Troopers, Artillery Witch, and a Warwolf. Set up only having 6 models each, and none that on 40mm or bigger bases, I had no choice but to leave my mechanized infantry in reserve. On the right hand side, I had my Lieutenant, a Sniper Priest, and a Yeoman, leaving the other Yeoman and the Ammo Monk to the left, leaving a gap for my mechanized infantry to come in with a nice open area for a firing channel. First turn, I won the roll-off and rolled a 1 on the D3, supporting one of my mechanized infantry. My opponent, his Warwolf. The opening was similar to game 1, where we both grabbed 2 objectives. This time the guns on the Antioch were able to open up. Between the Sniper Priest and mechanized infantry, they took out the Heretic Priest, chewing through both his tough and his exploration gained 6 cents, as well as a Heretic Trooper, leaving the Heretics reeling and the score 2-2, with 2 of those objectives going away. Turn 2 again, only a single reinforcement each, meaning my second mechanized infantry came onto the table, and my opponent his Artillery Witch. This filled me with dread, but she didn't get to do much this turn. However, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows this turn, with the Death Commando charging my lieutenant, both hitting like wet noodles but tying him up, and I failed on a couple of dashes, allowing my opponent to claim 2 objectives and me only the 1, making the score 4-3. Turn 3, the Artillery Witch finally spoke and lit up my 2 mechanized infantry and the Ammo Monk. I created a death zone where he didn't want to tread and allow me to control the board, but that would be no more. Blood markers everywhere, 1 down mech infantry, and the Ammo Monk out of action. This one hurt as naturally I earned the glory and was excited to try the cool ammo out, but I didn't get a chance. The Lieutenant and the Death Commando continued to go at it, and the Warwolf just refused to go down. I kept hitting him with the machine guns and the sniper rifle, but damn it, my injury dice just abandoned me. With my own keeping failing their dashes, I wasn't able to get onto another objective, leaving the score end of turn 3, 5-4. Going into the final turn, the writing was on the wall, as all thanks to that damn Warwolf. Having taken an objective, and killing my final yeoman off an objective I had claimed, he left me with no real way back into a winning position, but killing the chorister at least helped lessen the impact on what became a 9-5 defeat. I know we didn't get to play the third game, but overall this was a fantastic day. Learning all the campaign rules was worth it, let alone hanging out with people, making new friends, and getting the games in. I will do a proper video on the campaign rules in the future, but they're well worth reading and giving a go yourself. It is overwhelming at first, but once you start to read it though, it makes sense. The trauma step to see if your men are down or fit to come back, the promotions, explorations, all of it adds up to a good story and a fun way to play the game. I do have a tournament coming up in May, and I will endeavour to get more footage of those games and lists for you. I have a better grasp on the game now, and I'll be able to get more for you, rather than me having to constantly check. For it, I'll be running my Black Grail, and that'll be the next series of painting videos here on the channel. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, follow, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the trenches.